残酒醉尽干冰期やろさかい。帝国歴1945年、私は国史史辺境や博領の帝国立第三士官学校から新卒し、三国のため戦場に出たんだ。その後は長い時間にこの血を濡れた道を歩んでいた。前に立った人を敵だろうと味方だろうと全員殺したんだ。まるで三国の人間兵器のような弱き獲物を残虐の手段でバラッツしかし戦場に立った5年後、帝国は負けた。敵兵団が私たちを囲まれている。同時に三国の王都にクーデターを起こしたんだ。完全敗北になった。帝国はいなかった。Though the war may have ended, we remained prisoners of war. Even though many have fled when they heard the message that the coup d'etat took the emperor's life and the empire had crumbled. There are many comrades who refused to accept this fact and became holdouts, continuing their insurgency against the triumphant alliance that declared their war against us. As a result, we are all held captive by our enemies. Just as we thought things couldn't get even worse, we've received news that the triumphant forces began to start infighting against one another. See, with the empire crumbling away, the Beast Folk Alliance began to worry about who has the most control over the newly conquered land. After all, they were only united when the empire and the alliance declared war against each other. And as a result, a new civil war had occurred. Turns out there are many beast folks who are relatively dissatisfied when the people behind the coup d'etat, the foxes, claimed all the credit for the triumphant conquest against the empire. And as a result, there had been a power struggle between several different major players in the alliance. The foxes, the wolves, the lions, and the boars. And among these four aforementioned beast folk faction groups, within each, couldn't really decide on who their undisputed leader should be. So when I was experimented, there were 3 fox girl leaders, 2 boars, and 5 wolves trying to fight for the power. And just like how that we later knew the foxes have corrupted the minds of the imperial court and the emperor, we soon became victims to what the foxes do best. They experimented our bodies. They tortured us just to become the loyal servants to annihilate other members within the former Beast Folk Alliance. Many fortunate souls, they didn't really survive through the first round of experimentations. But unfortunately for me, I ended up numb to most pain and became a bloodthirsty monster, living just to kill and to kill anyone within my sight, like I was a ruthless hunter preying on the weak prey. It was a really big mindfuck that they've done to me. And whenever I wouldn't listen to their commands, they repeat it until I comply. Which, to me right now, when I am recalling all of these things, all the terrible things that I've done because of their experimentation and their errands, I still receive some sense of getting mind-fucked by those bastards. Now that I remember, there was a period of time that I served beside this white fox lady, a cruel, cunning figure who ordered me to be on her side during the nights in her bed, and during the day when we're not in the bed, I became her enforcer, tasked to execute anyone who would talk back against her during war meetings and political discussions when she didn't feel like the response was affirmative to her position. Basically, I am the weapon, the final blow in the political trap, luring rivals into it while I finish them off. To summarize, I became a hunter who specializes not only to hunt my enemies, but in specific situations, I am commanded by a fox to hunt foxes that she didn't like. I didn't like any single second of that. Until one day, she met her own end when I rebelled against her, freed from her control. I was given a new name, a new surname, when her hubris led her into a trap set up by the lion folks, which is why I've become known as Shishio, as I basically committed regicide. And, yeah, not a great story. After the White Fox's downfall, I became a wandering hunter, killing any prey within my path without a master. And I've become a walking slaughtering machine without any control. I bring death to anywhere I passed. Until one day, a woman stood in front of me. She drew her sword, but I hesitated. She was in tears that she had to cross paths with me. I hesitated because I didn't intend this encounter, nor did I want to end her life. I wanted her to be happy, but with her in tears, I started to have doubt. And in an instant, I fell. Before being transported here, all I heard were tearful complaints on why I chose this path. Why did I become the killing machine without any emotions? Why I didn't listen to her? Why I left her to enter the battlefield? I wanted her to be happy. I wanted her to be safe. I never intended this. But it all happened in an instant. I was not able to respond to her, and I lost my conscience. She was the maiden who begged me not to go when I left the academy for enlistment. She was the underclassman that I once adored. But now she's a mature woman who's strong and independent. While in tears and had a tail, a furry one, in fact. I felt sorry for her, having to leave her not once, but twice, to go into a full circle, leaving her there while I am transported to this world. Even though she may be a fox, she may be one of those beings, she belonged to the group of people who had tormented me for ages. I still wanted her to be happy. And as a result, I still have a complicated relationship when it comes to foxes. A love-hate relationship, in fact. I want them dead, but I can't help but to tease and, how should I say this, protect them if they were able to seduce me, or just if they're just too cute. that goes against my moral inclinations. But what can I do? I've become the monster that I feared I'd become. And this time, there's no one in this world who had the capability to stop me, make me hesitate when I one day lose myself and go berserk. After all, I am a human weapon. I must find a way. 用尽所有勇气，呼救未来，残留最心安bình氣下落殺開。下落殺開。